Hey guys, Mr. Began. So far we've looked at when lines are intersected or cut by a transversal, what the different angle relationships are, and when those two lines are parallel, what special things happens to those relationships. So now we're going to get a chance to practice some of it. So here's some problems. You're going to name one pair of each. Here, pause the video, answer the questions, play it back, and see if we get the same answer. All right, so alternate interior angles. That would be angle 3 and angle 6. They're on different sides of the transversal and they're interior. Also angle 4 and angle 5. Now you only needed to name one pair. I'm going to name all of them just so you can kind of see what they all are. But if it says name one, just name one. If it says name two, name two. If it says name all of them, name all of them. Alternate exterior angles. That would be angle 1 and angle 7. They're both on alternate sides or different sides of the transversal and they're exterior. And then we have angle 2 and angle 8. All right, corresponding, we have 4 of these. Remember, corresponding means same position. So we have angle 1 and angle 5. They're both on the left of that transversal or below it. And they're above the other lines or to the left of the other lines. We also have angle 3 and angle 8. Don't forget that angle symbol. Angle 2 and angle 6. And then lastly, angle 4 and angle 7. They're all corresponding angles. All right, next, same side interior. That would be angle 3 and angle 5. They're both on the same side of the transversal and interior. And then also angle 4 and angle 6. Vertical angles, we have a lot of those. Angle 1 and angle 4. Remember, they're like across from each other. Angle 2 and angle 3. And they kind of make a V pointing at each angle. Angle 5 and angle 7. And then lastly, angle 6 and angle 8. Remember, I'm listing all of them. You just need to list however many it says. All right, next is supplementary angles. Well, there's a bunch of them. I mean, any angles that are adjacent to each other or next to, they're on a straight line, so they're going to be supplementary. Those angles are supplementary. They're on a straight line next to each other. And then we also learned that alternate or same side interior angles are supplementary, so these are supplementary too. So there's a bunch of possible answers. Any of them would do. So we'll say angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 3 and angle 5, ... because there's many, many more. Same thing with congruent. Congruent angles, we learned when lines are parallel, angles that are, and we're assuming that these two lines are parallel in this example. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to talk about congruent or necessarily about supplementary. So we're looking at angles that are the same. We learned that when lines are parallel and intersected by a transversal, alternate interior angles are congruent, alternate exterior angles are congruent, vertical angles are congruent, and corresponding angles are congruent. So once again, there's a bunch of different answers. Angle 1 and angle 5 could be a possible answer because they're corresponding. Angle 2 and angle 3 because vertical angles are congruent. So once again, ... there's many, many more. All right, now, if lines S and R are parallel and the measure of angle 1 is 135 degrees, what are the measures of the remaining angles? Well, I like to put that 135 right there. I like to look at it. That's a 5. Ooh. All right, so we're going to need the measure of angle 2, the measure of angle 3, the measure of angle 4, measure of angle 5. Don't forget that M stands for measure, how many degrees, because that's how we measure angles. And then the measure of angle 8. I'll put you over here. All right, so let's see, 2. 2 and 1 are right next to each other on a straight line, so we know they're supplementary. So 135 plus, 45 is 180, so 45 degrees. Now, there's a bunch of different ways we can get some of these. Angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical, so they're the same. They're congruent. So if 1 is 135, 3 is 135. or I could have looked at these two as supplementary. 4 and 2 are vertical, and 2 was 45, so 4 must be 45. 5, once again, a bunch of different ways. 3 and 5 are alternate interior. Alternate interior angles are congruent, so 3 is 135, 5 is 135. Or I could have looked at 4 and 5 as supplementary. They have to add up to 180. That works also. Angle 6, well, let's see. Angle 6 and angle 2 are corresponding. Corresponding angles are congruent. So if 2 is 45, 6 is 45. 7, well, 5 and 7 are vertical. Vertical angles are congruent. 5 is 135, 7 is 135. And then our last one, what's angle 8? The measure of angle 8. Well, 6 and 8 are vertical. 6 is 45, 8 is 45. And then just to kind of double check, there should be 4 of each. 1, 2, 3. 3 that are 45. 1, 2, 3, and then this one here. 4 that are 135, and 140 or 135 and 45 does add up to 180. So looks good. Now some true or false. All right. So we have some lines here. We're going to once again assume that line A and B are parallel, but obviously S and T are not. So basically, you look at this almost as two separate problems. Here is a transversal, line S, and then here's the two lines that it's intersecting. And then here's another transversal, T, and then here's the two lines that it's intersecting. The angles over here don't have anything to do with the angles over here. Okay, so you got to be careful. So if I'm looking at the first question, is the measure of angle 2 equal to the measure of angle 8? Okay, let's see. Here's 2, here's 8. All right, they all are in the same area here. They're on the same transversal, so they do have a relationship. They're alternate exterior angles, and we learned that when you have parallel lines, alternate exterior angles are congruent. So the measure of angle 2 does equal the measure of angle 8, so that's a true. Measure of angle 6 plus the measure of angle 8 equals 180. So now we're looking to see if 6 and 8 are supplementary. So 6 and 8, well, they're vertical angles, and we learned that vertical angles are congruent. So they're not going to add up to 180, so that's going to be a false. They shouldn't be supplementary, they should be congruent. All right, next one. The measure of angle 6 equals the measure of angle 15. Well, let's see. Here's 6. 15's over here. And like I said, these angles over here don't have anything to do with these angles over here. So I can't look at any kind of relationship like that. So I'm going to say false. And then lastly, the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3 equals 180. So we're saying that they're supplementary. So 1 is right here, 3 is right here, and they are next to each other on a straight line, so they do add up to 180. They are supplementary, so that is true. Those are the kind of questions you're going to get. You got to be able to name what the angles are, or you got to locate based on the names. Alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding vertical, same side interior. Or if the lines are parallel, you might have to find missing angles. And then you might see problems like this where it's got two lines intersecting two parallel lines, and then kind of true or false kind of questions. All right, good luck, guys.